It is 2:47 a.m. You are staring at the ceiling, and they are there again. Not physically. They are nowhere near you. They have not texted, called, or crossed your mind on purpose in weeks. And yet here they are, fully rendered, standing in the exact center of your consciousness, saying the exact thing that hurt you, while you deliver the perfect response you never actually said out loud. You are rehearsing an argument that already ended, reliving a betrayal that already happened, giving free, unlimited attention to a person who does not even know they are living in your head. Here is the uncomfortable math nobody says out loud. They hurt you once. You have hurt yourself with the memory of it several hundred times since. So today, I am not going to tell you to let it go. That advice is useless, and you already know it is useless because you have tried it and it did not work. Instead, I am going to give you the actual mental mechanism for evicting someone from your mind. Not forgetting them, evicting them. There is a difference, and by the end of this, you will understand exactly how to use it. Let's name what is actually happening, because vague advice fails precisely where precision succeeds. What you are experiencing has a specific mechanism. It is called rumination, not simply remembering. Rumination is the involuntary, repetitive replay of a painful event, usually accompanied by an internal monologue that keeps rewriting the scene. What I should have said, what they really meant, what this says about me. Notice something important about that loop. It is not passive memory. You are not simply recalling a fact, the way you recall your childhood address. You are actively reauthoring the scene, again and again, usually casting yourself as either the victim or the eventual victor of an argument that is not happening anymore. And here is the part that makes it so exhausting. Every replay feels productive. It feels like you are processing, understanding, protecting yourself from being hurt this way again. But you are not investigating anymore. You are just visiting, compulsively, uninvited, at 2:47 in the morning, when your defenses are lowest, and your mind has nothing else competing for its attention. The person who hurt you did something once, in a moment, now sealed in the past. But your mind keeps issuing them a new key to the present, every single night, without ever asking whether you actually want them back inside. Nearly 2,000 years ago, a Roman emperor who buried children, fought wars, and governed an empire, wrote something in his private journal that reads, like it was written specifically for insomniac, 2 a.m. minds. In Meditations, Book 9, Marcus Aurelius makes an observation that sounds almost too simple to matter until you actually sit with it. He notes that things exist outside of us, entirely on their own, and that they carry no judgment, no charge, no meaning in themselves. He then asks a single devastating question. What is it then that actually passes judgment on things? His answer: the mind. Nothing else. Apply this directly to the person replaying in your head right now. The event itself, the words said, the betrayal, the silence, the walking away, that event is finished. It happened once, in a specific place, at a specific time, and it does not exist anymore, except as a fact in the past. What exists right now, at 2:47 a.m., is not the event. It is your governing self, as Marcus called it, choosing, moment by moment, to manufacture the emotional charge all over again. The person is not actually in your bedroom. They are standing, as Marcus would put it, outside your door, separate from you, unable to enter unless something inside you keeps opening it. This is not a claim that what happened to you did not matter, or that the pain was not real. It absolutely was. This is a far more precise claim. The event only hurt you once. Every replay after that is a decision, usually unconscious, to reopen a door that is otherwise closed. And this is the philosophical seed of the actual technique you are about to learn. You are not going to erase the memory. You cannot. And trying to will only backfire. What you are going to do is stop reauthoring the story that keeps them present. Here is why this actually works, beyond ancient wisdom. At the level of a mechanism your brain runs constantly without your permission. Every time you replay a memory with emotional intensity, you are not simply reviewing old information. You are strengthening the neural pathway associated with it. The brain reinforces whatever gets repeated. This is not a controversial claim. It is closely related to how habits and associations form generally, through repetition and attention. The more frequently a certain thought pattern fires, the more accessible and automatic it becomes, which means every 2 a.m. replay is not neutral. It is training. You are, quite literally, practicing being hurt by this person, rehearsing the wound until it becomes muscle memory. This is why suppression alone fails so badly. Telling yourself, "Stop thinking about it," does not remove the loop. It usually adds a second layer of failure on top of the first, because now you feel bad about still thinking about it too. The actual lever is not suppression. It is starving the loop of repetition by redirecting where your attention actually lands. Attention, in a very real sense, functions like reinforcement. What repeatedly receives your attention gets strengthened. What consistently does not receive it weakens, not instantly, but reliably over time. This is not about willpower. It is about where you are choosing again and again to spend a finite, trainable resource, your attention. So here is the actual technique, not a mindset, a process, something you can run tonight, the next time they show up uninvited. Step 1. Catch the replay in real time. This sounds obvious, but almost no one does it, because rumination usually runs beneath conscious notice until you are already 10 minutes deep into an imaginary argument. The moment you notice yourself rehearsing a scene with them, name it out loud or internally. Simply say, "This is a replay." That single act of naming interrupts the automatic nature of the loop, because you have shifted from being inside the scene to observing it. Step 2. The outside my door reframe. Once you have caught it, consciously relocate them. Picture them, literally, standing outside a closed door. Not gone from existence. Simply outside, where Marcus placed all external things. Say to yourself, that event is out there. It is finished. What is happening right now, in here, is a choice I am making. This is not denial. It is accurate placement. The event is not currently occurring. Your nervous system, however, cannot always tell the difference unless you deliberately draw the line for it. Step 3. Redirect to a concrete present action. This is the step almost every piece of generic advice skips, and it is the one that actually breaks the loop. Vague redirection, like "just think positive," fails because your brain needs something specific and immediate to occupy the same attentional space the replay was using. Get up and do one physical, present tense task. Wash a dish, change your posture. Name 3 objects in the room out loud. Text someone who is actually in your life right now, not the person who is not. The goal is not distraction as avoidance. The goal is proof, delivered to your own nervous system, that the present moment is available, populated, and real, while the replay is not. Repeat this daily, every time you catch the loop, and something remarkable begins to happen within a few weeks. Not because the memory disappears, because the pathway starves. The door stays shut more often than it swings open, simply because you have stopped being the one repeatedly opening it. Now, an important distinction, because this technique can be badly misused if you mistake it for something it is not. This is not suppression. Suppression means forcing a feeling underground, pretending it does not exist, freezing yourself into a kind of numb avoidance. That approach tends to backfire because feelings that are denied rather than processed usually resurface later, often more intensely, and often at moments you did not choose. What we are describing here is different. You are allowed to feel the pain fully when it is genuinely present. Grief, anger, the ache of betrayal. These deserve real acknowledgement, not silencing. The technique is not for the first, honest wave of feeling. It is for the 200th involuntary replay of an event that has already been felt, acknowledged, and understood. At that point, repetition is no longer processing. It is habit. And habit is exactly the layer this technique is built to interrupt. Regulating a feeling and freezing it out are not the same thing. One brings you back into your body, present and steady. The other just buries the signal somewhere it will eventually resurface. This technique aims squarely at the former. Return now to 2:47 a.m. The technique is not for the first, honest wave of feeling. It is for the 200th involuntary replay of an event that has already been felt, acknowledged, and understood. At that point, repetition is no longer processing. It is habit. And habit is exactly the layer this technique is built to interrupt. Regulating a feeling and freezing it out are not the same thing. One brings you back into your body, present and steady. The other just buries the signal somewhere it will eventually resurface. This technique aims squarely at the former. Return now to 2:47 a.m.